Welcome back to the Gun Collective podcast, boys and girls. My name is Jon Patton. I know a lot of people are actually this is going to be a weird thing. A lot of people were very upset about me using the term boys and girls during our SHOT Show coverage. People were like getting offended, like, "Oh, you can't say that anymore." I'm freaking out about it. It's pretty funny. Tonight I am flying solo, and we're going to do some Q&A because that's what I like to do when I'm just by myself. I like to have a conversation with you guys. But first, I want to say thank you to our sponsors tonight. The first one is Make Ready Arms. They've done something really interesting. They've gone out of their way to create an e-commerce platform for the firearms industry specifically. And the reason that's awesome is because we had issues with like Shopify, and I can't remember the name of the others, but there were other anti-freedom companies trying to shut down these stores and credit card processors and banks. And they have gone out of their way to work through all of that and create something really special for the gun industry. So I want you guys to go over to makereadyarmswithaz.com. Use our code TGC. I think it's 30, TGC 30. If you can't get it working, just shoot me a message and we'll sort it out. MakeReadyArmsWithAZ.com. Guys, they do some awesome stuff. Also, check out Kinetic Development Group. They do everything from scar parts. Really a big fan of their scar parts, the rails, the scarging handle, the stock adapter. That's cool, right? But they also do a lot of stuff for ARs. Their M-Lock accessories are incredible. The Connect pieces are just fantastic. Then they've got their QD optic mounts. Again, fantastic. Really, really excited to have known those guys since they got started. Our code over there is TGC10. You get 10% off at kineticdg.com. There it is. Now, guys, if you hear me lisping and that sort of thing, I apologize. I have the clear braces in. Those things. We're going through that process. It's just part of the thing. That's just the way it is. That's just the way we're going to do it. So without further nonsense, I'm going to jump into the comments here and I'm going to take your questions. We're just going to flow through what you guys want to talk about tonight. If there's something specific on your mind that you want to know my thoughts on, slam it in the comments and we'll get there. The first one, this one actually came in before we got started tonight. It's from Pierce Taylor. And he says Resonator R2, which is the second gen of the YHM Resonator silencer, or the Resonator K, which is the short one. It depends on the setup. I have one of the original Resonators, and I think it's a fantastic can. I actually did a video with Talon, and I don't know if it's up yet, but Talon and I did a video really recently, and I like the Resonator K a lot. However, I don't think it's the solution to every situation. That's not what it's supposed to be, right? I personally will take a little bit of extra weight and a little bit bigger can to get a little bit better numbers overall. That's my personal stance. So I would probably go with the R2. And that also gives you more flexibility with, if you want to get into silencing something bigger, you have a little bit more headroom as far as the amount of volume inside the can. So you're not stuck going, oh, this is going to suck on like a 300 Win Mag or something like that. You've got movement, you've got room on that. That's a big deal for me. Crazy Ivan 2X over on YouTube. You know what? I'll put these up on the screen so you guys can see what we're looking at. He says thoughts on pistol chassis to make a handgun into a carbine. I'm not really. I think that's like that CAA thing. I think they're dumb. I really do. Wait, let me back up because I think the CAA thing where you shove a Glock inside, I think that's dumb because you're really not making it into a carbine. You're simply adding a stock or a brace or something to a Glock. And I don't necessarily like that. I don't necessarily think that's the right way to do it. I have shot ones that I did enjoy. I really enjoyed the 320 thing, the 320 chassis. I think that's an interesting take, the way Flux Defense did it. But I don't like the one where you shove the Glock up inside. I think it feels weird. it's kind of one of those hit and miss products. Like some of them could be cool, some of them could not. I also don't really like the way CAA operates. On the back end, they've said and done some things with me that I thought were really, really stupid or disrespectful. So they're out of my book. Here's another one. This one's going to be really interesting. I don't really have much to add to this. It's from Bill Stenger. It's not a question. We're just throwing the questions out the window right now. IWA, the basically European version of SHOT Show, is canceled. Like, this is a big deal. It goes on every year. It's huge. It's like SHOT Show being canceled. They canceled it because of coronavirus concerns. Boys and girls, that crap is getting real, and it is on our doorstep right now. It's here. There are cases in the U.S. Prepare yourself. And I'm not saying freak out. I'm saying get ready. It's here. Let's see. Jason Bacon is slamming some. Oh my goodness, the scrolling. So I'm using a software here that allows me to stream to a lot of places, and sometimes doesn't work great. Let's see. Aside from the standard, get the virgin anti-gunner to the range, talk to them calmly and directly, what is the next best thing to potentially change their mind? I suppose that is in terms of like bringing a non-gun person to the range. I believe that's what that's all about. And I think the reality is to just allow people to have opinions, and hopefully, through positive interactions over time, that opinion may shift. It may never. I think the not great perspective that a lot of gun guys get is that they think that shoving information down the throats of these anti-gunners is suddenly going to change their opinion. That makes it worse. Like, they dig in. This is why I made the video called "Shall Not." It was "When Shall Not Stops Working," because we have a habit, and so everybody, humans do this. This is not just like right or left or conservative, liberal, blah blah blah. It's not that. It's humans. We have a habit of throwing information at at each other with hopes of like it's our truth, and we think that shouting our truth at somebody is going to change it. And this has nothing to do with what is actual facts. It's about what people feel inside. And I know people are, oh, you can't, it's not about feelings. It absolutely is. I'm sorry. If you don't think this is about people's feelings, you have lost before you began, my friends. Somebody's asking where Izzy is. Izzy's probably around somewhere. I don't know. Izzy is not, like, I don't require him to be here every single week, especially not when I'm doing a Q&A, because I'm going through the comments anyway. Izzy is probably working his butt off somewhere. We got one from Guns and Gadgets. Hey, brother, love your work. Hey, thanks, Jared. Jared has been on the podcast many times. See you in Nashville as well, brother. He is absolutely crushing it these days, guys. If you're not subscribed to Guns and Gadgets, go change that. Let's see. We're going to try and pull up some more questions. I've got a whole bunch of tabs open here with questions from all over the place. You know what? Let's grab one from TGC Nation. Guys, if you are not in TGC Nation, that's our Facebook group, you should probably change that. Daniel Hayden, who's actually one of the mods, says, after your road trip to SHOT and back, have you found anything that would make you change up your EDC gun? No, I haven't. I don't know what could possibly make me want to change that, but I don't really subscribe to like changing the gun based on what you're wearing or changing the gun based on where you're at. I think you change and adapt around that because you get proficient with that gun. And then if you're proficient with that gun, you just adapt, right? Like that's kind of my thought on that. We'll take another one from TGC Nation. Would love to hear your thoughts. This is from Steven Selleck. Would love to hear your thoughts on American-made AKs. I will tell you this. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about when it comes to American-made AKs. That is why you don't hear me talking about them. If you want that, you got to go talk to Brandon. You got to listen to what Brandon has to say, or AKA Operators Union. Listen to the guys that know that stuff. The guys at Atlantic Firearms are really what's really interesting about them is, yes, they sell stuff, but they also are out there to inform people and get them good guns. Like I've been there. We did a bunch of slow-mo stuff together. It was awesome. But at the same time, it's not really for them. It's not really about like pushing a certain model. It's about showing what they have available and reasons why you may want it. You may not want it, but whatever. Let's see here. Fun 1, 2, something, something, something. With the ACR being discontinued, do you think the SCAR will become even more popular? I don't think the ACR had any effect on the SCAR being popular at all. If anything, it made it popular to begin with, because it was kind of like the ACR had come out and then the SCAR came out later. And I think the ACR sort of kicked that door open. I guess I don't know if that's a right way to explain it, but I think the ACR was a catalyst for things like the SCAR being welcomed into the market here. I don't think the ACR going away is really going to change much, because I don't think the ACR was popular enough to change anything. And that's probably why it's discontinued. Let's be fair. Hey, Izzy's here. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep up, and sometimes the list of stuff just scrolls right on past me. It's wonderful. Nick Fenbert, 6.5 Grendel AR-15 build. What parts are you using hunting and precision shooting? I would probably go with a ballistic advantage barrel if they make one in 6.5 Grendel. I don't know. I really like those. I may reach out to somebody like Roscoe. I really like the Roscoe barrels as well. The core with, to me, the core with a 6.5 Grendel build and a precision AR is a nice set of receivers that fit tightly together. That's a big thumbs up. You need that tight fit. But then I would also look at a really good quality barrel. And if you're talking about any precision stuff, you need fitment. You need a gun that's not sloppy, that's not loose, because those things will circle. It's what they call stacking tolerances. So if you have a little bit of loose here and a little bit of loose here and a little bit of loose here, you end up with a whole lot of loose in the entire gun, and you can't do that. That is not repeatable. It's not precision. You need good fitment. Really, that's what it comes down to. I don't know that there's like one brand overall that I would definitely buy. It's like, what do you buy based on your budget? What do you buy based on how far you're actually trying to shoot? Because some guys say like precision shooting and they don't shoot past like 400 yards. To me, 400 is a layup. You can do that with a 6.5 Grendel all day, every day. That's easy. But you talk about 1,000-yard gun. Okay, now you're starting to put some distance in there, and you need to worry a little bit more about the precision that you're trying to accomplish. The other thing is, are you talking about putting down sub MOA groups? Or are you talking about, 1.5 to 1 MOA? Those are different things. To achieve that sub MOA grouping in a semi-automatic AR-15 platform, you need to really, really lean on some good quality stuff. Let's see. Saul Meza. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, brother. What do you think about the new Springfield Hellcat? I will tell you this. I have not handled one yet. I haven't made the effort to handle one because, frankly, I don't care. I thought the 365 was good. I covered the Hellcat on the news, but I'm not personally in the market for something like that. And right now, I have so many projects on my plate that it's like I'm not gonna be like excited about it and screw myself over, because that I feel like I could get excited about. And not only that, but let me explain something more. If I pick up a gun from a company that everybody and their mother hates or claims to hate, then I pay for it in the comment section. I absolutely pay for it in the comment section. And right now, that's just not something I care about. I think it has potential. There's tons of reviews, and hopefully it's not terrible. Let's see. Here's a good one from Jason Bacon again. Good question for myself. Have you thought about being on the PKA podcast with FPS Russia and crew? I mean, sure, I would absolutely go on there. I don't know those guys. I met Kyle maybe once or twice. That's FPS Russia. I've met him a couple times at the Iraq veteran events, but I don't really know him personally. And I have no idea if they would want me on there. I don't know why. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's like a like a gaming thing, which I used to be a gamer, but not anymore. So I don't know. I would absolutely do that. Let's see. You guys are slamming a lot of good questions here. Thank you. Also, if you haven't, please hit the like button or get subscribed if you're watching this and aren't yet. Let's see. John, what is your favorite 30 to 45 caliber / all-around suppressor? I don't have one. I think all-around suppressors are generally terrible. I think if you're going to try and do multi-caliber, you should not go above like a 30 caliber bore. Like I think segmented. So if I'm trying to suppress a wide variety of calibers with one can, I wouldn't go above 30 cal. And the reason for that is because it's sort of like stacking tolerances. If you have these huge gaps between where the bullet is flying through the bore for gas and sound to escape, like if you're shooting a 5.56 through a 45 or a 458 diameter bore can, that is likely not going to perform as well as you want. And me personally, I'm giving you my personal opinion here. I don't need to have one can to rule them all. That is not something I ever wanted or needed. I purchased a bunch of cans. I have a bunch of cans in here for testing, and that's just not something that interests me. I think what you do is get a really good 30 caliber can, a really good 45 caliber can, and a really good rimfire can. And then that covers a ton of stuff, a buttload of stuff. Keith Eric. Hey, that's Keith. Everybody say hey to Keith. Keith's a buddy and a friend of the channel. He is a great guy. He recently had surgery. He's going through stuff. Look up Donor X on Instagram. Check him out. What's that on the wall to the right of the green gun? This, I believe, is what he's talking. This is a TS12 from IWI. This is a video waiting to happen. That's what that is. The other one next to it, this is a Savage. So there's a Savage. Then there is a Thompson Center shotgun. That's a slug gun. Then I've got a Ruger PC9 and then a IWI Tavor 7 and a whole bunch of other stuff. There's a bunch of firearms in here. Thanks, Keith. Let's see. Randy Olson. When will SIG make a 10 millimeter P320? They will not ever. Sorry. They're just not going to. That's dumb. They're not going to do it. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it in a metal frame gun. They're not going to do it in a 320 because I love you guys, but stop. They're not going to make a 10 mil. It's like me saying I want a 50 AE AR-15. That doesn't make sense. Nobody's going to buy that because the ammo is silly. It's bad enough trying to get SIG to make good quality like 9 millimeter guns. Let's not give them a 10 mil right now and have them screw that up. Also, I think the first thing that came to mind was a 10 millimeter P365. The 320 is more realistic. They would just have to do a lot to get it to 10 mil to beef it up, and I just don't see it happening. Maybe, you know what they would do first? They would do a 45 before they did a 10 mil. Guaranteed they would do a 45 before a 10. Oh, man. We are absolutely rolling through the questions. Thank you guys so much for being here and chit-chatting with me. Let's see. Okay. Coronavirus. Okay. Why are people blaming the current U.S. presidency for this? Like, it is their fault China started the virus? I don't know. People are dumb. Like, I don't know why people would actually blame President Trump. Part of me is like, oh, there's a conspiracy theory that the Chinese government, this is like, what do they call it? Like viral agents or whatever, like weapons of war, that sort of thing. I can't think of the term right now. It's escaping me, but I think this has potential to be that, maybe. But the fact that it's now popping up all over the world is kind of scary. But here's the thing. I still don't think as a whole, I don't know. I'd have to look at the numbers, but I don't know if it's even as deadly as like the normal flu that we experience. So is it really that bad, or are we just freaking the hell out about it? Let's see. Misha Norton. Will modular guns be the future? Yeah, I mean, they kind of already are. That's like the current, like the AR-15 is modular. Glocks are arguably modular. The 320, arguably modular. Even the The Masada with its removable chassis. That's what anything that like the fire control group or the serialized portion, when that can be swapped around with different like uppers and things like that, to me, that's modular. And that's pretty rad. You're not stuck with anything. I can't wait to see if anybody starts doing stuff like they did with the 320 to the Masada, because I think the Masada is a great gun. Let's see. Rolling on the man. Okay, let's see. Reloader 2001, always here supporting. Thank you so much. Just watched your Taurus video. For those unaware, I put out a video today on the Taurus G3. He said, will that open up more testing of more Taurus items or other budget manufacturers? That's my intent. You know, I would like to explore the budget thing a lot more, but I don't know when. Like I said earlier in the podcast here, I have a mountain of stuff on my plate. I am very bad. I'm very, very bad at saying no. I take on way, way, way too much. And I have enough, you know, so quote unquote work right now. I have enough things that we could do here at TGC to not have to request another product for the rest of the year. Like we would be fine. We would be absolutely fine putting out several videos a week doing that. So that being said, I would love to do that. I just don't know when it's going to happen. I would love to take a look at more affordable stuff, because that was one of the number one things people wanted us to do, is look at affordable stuff. And I thought the Taurus G3 was a perfect opportunity for that, and I was pleasantly surprised. That's for sure. Man, this is jumping all around on me. I'm trying to keep my place as I'm scrolling through the questions so I can read them as you guys post them. What is a greater threat, the virus or economic crisis? I think the economic crisis is absolutely a bigger threat. The virus will go away. The economic crisis will hit and then have echoes. I mean, good Lord, that's not great. I don't know what's going to come out of it. I'm not an expert on that, but I think it would be not really, really good. I know, that's wonderful. John Clark over on Facebook says, what's your thoughts on the Glock 22 long rifle? That's the Glock 44 because they have a terrible naming scheme. I think that gun needed more work before they rushed it to market. I think that's the unfortunate thing. Oh, by the way, I can hear them in my headphones here. If you guys hear dinging and stuff, it is very, very windy here. The wind chimes outside the office here are just freaking the hell out. So I apologize, but that's going to be a thing. It's very, very windy. The Glock 44 to me is a swing and a miss. 10 rounds in the mag. That's terrible. The big thumbs down on that. Big, terrible thumbs down. With companies like, I think Taurus has a good round count in the TX22. I think it's above 15, I think. I don't quite remember. And the Kel-Tec has a really high round count in the mag. Why are we doing 10 round mags still? Like, why are we doing that? I would bet it's probably some sort of state compliance thing so they don't have to make multiple magazines. But like, come on. And then to sell it without a standard threaded barrel is a huge disappointment. When every other 22 on the market has some sort of threaded barrel available from the factory at that same price, and Glock is like, no, pay $150 more, whatever the hell it was. Get the heck out of here. That's terrible. That's terrible. Nick Fenbert, what parts? Oh, sorry, we already got that one. He just asked it again. Will Watson, any chance of Adam coming on the show soon to talk about the current crop of NRA candidates and if any of them are worth voting for? He will not do that. I will tell you why. He works for Firearms Policy Coalition. It is not in their best interest to badmouth or promote other people in a different organization. They're doing their own thing. It's great. And I really, really, I bet you he doesn't even know all of the candidates. Because he's got his head so deep in what they're doing at FPC. So I don't know that that's going to be a thing. It sucks, but that's the way it is. Adam is a very, very busy guy. Okay. This is a really long one. So we're going to see if this is a good question. We're going to learn about this question together. I'm in Elk Grove, California, about 10 minutes south of Sacramento. People have not been talking, the taking the economic impact of the coronavirus seriously, nor have they taken the potential to get sick seriously. Went to the store today, and some people were finally taking it seriously. It was verified today that multiple people were exposed to coronavirus at UC Davis, and there are also students at two of the local city colleges. Thank you for sharing that, Daniel. That shit is terrifying. Moving on. Let's see. Duroro. That's really fun to say. The Zip 22 or a turd on a stick? What is better defense? At this point, I think a turd on a stick would be better because people are terrified of germs right now. And I've never seen the Zip 22 work right. Let's see. More questions. All right. I'm going to jump over to the TGC main Facebook page and see if there are any good questions there. Here we go. Any tips for building a personal indoor pistol range? This is from Jon Bonham. Jon Bonham. What a name. So when the number one thing you need to be concerned about with an indoor range, especially at your home, is ventilation. You need to be able, there are things that like professional ranges or commercial ranges have to uphold to, like there are standards. And I don't know if those apply in a home range. I don't know how all that works, but ventilation should be a big concern of yours. Also, you should be able to, collect the spent rounds and brass pretty easily. That'd be a big deal. And then you should also consider the sound. Like if other people are in the home, that could be very loud, even through, walls and floors. So, consider that. So I would say like ventilation, controlling where the projectile and the brass go, that's a fairly big deal because it gets messy really fast. And then sound. Those are the biggest things that you need to be concerned about. I don't have any tips because I've never built one. I can't say like, oh, use this or use that. I would just say pay attention to those things. I know you guys have more questions here live on the show, so we'll try to keep up with those as well. Let's see. Tosh Miller. Do you think we should stock up on stripped uppers before the ATF requires them to be serialized? I do not know if that is going to happen. I don't know. I've heard that rumor, and I don't know if that's going to come to be. I think they would have a really, really hard time because there are so many out there that are unserialized. Like how could you regulate something? How could they argue that a current product? So like, let's say I bought a gun today with an upper that is unserialized, and then tomorrow they change the law. How could they argue that the one I have is illegal because it doesn't have a serial number placed on there by the manufacturer? I have no way of putting a serial number on there. And if I did, then I would have to be considered a manufacturer based on their regulations. Not necessarily like the act of putting it on there is not it, but technically, if I'm serializing a gun, that's part of like making a gun. I don't know. I think it's a very, very cloudy thing, and I don't think they're going to be able to pull that off. However, they pulled off weirder crap in the past. Let's see. Wade. He says barbecue chicken, sweet or spicy? Sweet. It's always sweet. I'm a fat kid. Come on. All right. Double action, single action Glock question mark from fun123. No, I don't really like Glocks that much. I've got a whole I've got a few. There's one back here. I don't know. That's around here somewhere. I don't really like Glocks all that much. They've disappointed me more than they've made me happy as a person. So no thanks. All right. Let's see. Do you know anything about California's next Freedom Week? I know nothing about it. Thoughts on binary triggers? They're fun. Kinda. I don't know. It's not a machine gun. It's not a machine gun. I don't know. I don't own any binary triggers. I'll put it that way. Let's see. Brent Stallbomber. I'm looking for a threaded barrel for my Gen 1 Savage Axis. Any recommendations? Savage, aren't those like the really affordable ones, the cheap end Savage guns? I don't remember. Honestly, your best bet is probably calling up a barrel manufacturer, especially if you want a good one. But they may not make one. I don't know of anybody that makes a gun for the Axis specifically. That's not like something that comes up all the time. It's usually like the Model 10. So you'd probably want to just call around to some barrel manufacturers. Sorry about that. Wish I could help you more. Let's get back into the questions. Come on. It's scrolling on me. Here's a good one. Which gun do you like better? With no examples. Great question. Moving on. Do you shoot more rifles than pistols? That depends on the month and day. We've been shooting a lot of pistols lately. In the past, I've shot a lot of rifles. I used to shoot a ton of shotguns. Like me and a 12 gauge, we get along real well. I love shotguns. Love them. But we've been doing some handgun reviews, kind of flowing in that direction. I don't know. I don't really think about it like that, but lately it's been pistols for sure. Let's see. Jason Bacon again. You should come out to the Woodward Dream Cruise, take a break and relax. That would be fun, but unlikely. Let's see. What is your take on the online NFA gun trusts in regards to getting suppressors? I mean, at this point, I'm not sure getting a trust has a ton of benefit. I would not, like, if I was going to get another trust, which I won't do, I would not use an online, like, quick thing. I would call a legitimate lawyer and get a legitimate, like, well put together trust. I did that to start with because the NFA, the online stuff was not a thing. That was not really an option. So I had someone that actually used to work with Adam. His name's Josh Prince. Anybody in PA should know that name, but Josh did my trust. Let's see. Here we go. Do you think Henry or Marlin, this is Jacob Rodriguez on Facebook, do you think Henry or Marlin will make a rifle in new cartridges like 5.7 or 350 Legend? 350 Legend is more likely than 5.7. 5.7, it's just not going to happen in a lever gun. I really don't suspect that those companies are looking at 5.7 right now and thinking, yes, that's the right call. I think they would look at the 350 Legend first. But what you have to remember is a lot of the cartridges that they prefer to make them in are those big rimmed cartridges, and neither of those particularly is a rimmed. It's like a rebated rim. So I think more likely you're going to get a bigger bore cartridge because that's more in line with what people would typically buy. And I don't think. See, think of it this way as well. In a 5.7, you are not getting a non-pointed bullet, right? Like, you're just not going to do it. So they want something that's viable in a tube-fed magazine. So I just don't see it. I see the 350 Legend, although I don't get that cartridge. I don't quite understand where it's at right now because, they bragged about it being the next, like a big version of 300 Blackout, and it's just not. It's just not. They never, as far as I'm aware, subsonic loadings are not available for the 350 Legend yet, which is dumb. Like, I wanted that to be awesome. But it's kind of falling flat. All right, here we go. Patrick Browning. Shout out to John Moses. Thoughts on the 500 Automax? I had two. Neither of them worked right. I sent it back. The relationship I have right now with Bighorn is not what I would call great. They kind of disappointed me on a few fronts, like set me up and said, we're gonna send you a whole bunch of stuff, and it just didn't go great. It didn't go great. And the first gun I had and that they sent me, I thought it was going to be like a legit, production gun, and it was like a prototype, and it had the wrong buffer spring in it. We couldn't figure out how to get the darn thing to run right, no matter what ammo we were pumping through it. We tried it suppressed, unsuppressed, disappointment, tried another one, and then they wanted it back and never sent it back again. I don't know. I tried. I think if you're looking for a cartridge like that, just get the Beowulf right now. I think the 500 Automax needs a little bit of work, and I think those guns in particular need a little bit of work. And maybe they fixed the issues by now. I don't know. That was quite a while ago. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. Somebody said the TX22 from Taurus has 16 rounds. That's cool. 16 rounds. Thank you for updating us here. All right, here we go. Oz the Greater. OZ the Greater. Oz. We're going with Oz. If money was not an object and you needed 2 rifles and 2 pistols, one of each for defense against African game, and the other 2 as your go-to-war setup, what would you choose? So 2 rifles, a set of a rifle and a handgun for African game, and then a set for sort of a go-to-war. Okay. I'm going to think about this for a second. I think I would likely go with, like, if we're talking about like buying one instead of building one, because I think that's a little bit more fair, because I could build anything. But I think if we're talking about buying a go-to-war gun, I would look at maybe like a Noveski or an LWRC or a Daniel Defense. Those I would pick, like a 5.56 gun. Those would be, I would trust those all day, every day. I know there are tons of other brands. So, you know, if I didn't say like Radiant, there's one that just popped into my mind. Those are great. But, you know, that's one of the options. I'd probably pick something like that, like a higher end AR-15. And then I would go with the gun that I currently carry, the HK-VP9. Simply because I've got a lot of rounds through it and I like it. In terms of African game, I would probably pick either a 50 Beowulf, like I built a 50 Beowulf. I would probably pick, you know what? No, I'm going to, this is kind of funny, but I would pick my lever action from Bighorn Armory, the company that made the 500 Automax. I've got one of their lever guns and it's chambered in 500 Magnum. That would be a fantastic cartridge for a lot of African game. If you can get close enough, of course, you know, it's dependent. If you can get close enough, you can get anything. I did a video back in the day with IREC Vet 8888 out of a 16-inch barrel, 500 Magnum. If you can connect with 500 Magnum out to like 600 yards, it's lethal by a long shot. So that would be a pretty cool thing. I think that would be a great choice for African game. And then I would probably carry a 500 Magnum wheel gun with like a 10-inch barrel, like one of the long barrel versions. The 500 Magnum revolver from Smith & Wesson, just because big bore. Like if I'm going to Africa and I'm going hunting and I want to take down anything, I'll take a 500 Magnum. Yeah. Or, I mean, alternatively, you could look at something like, you know, 500 square or 375 H&H, you know, those things. I just don't have those and don't have experience with them right now. Let's see. Jared from Guns and Gadgets dropped in on the Glock 44 that we were talking about. He says the G44 is a no-go, and that is from a quote-unquote Glocky guy. All right. Man, some of these questions are popping up twice. I guess people are trying to ask them again. Well, thank you for giving a damn about what we're doing tonight. I appreciate that. Let's see. So we were talking about the indoor range, and someone said, vent the lead vapors into your neighbor's house. That's a bad idea. I'm just going to go on record and say that's a bad idea. Wouldn't a home range still fall under town/city ordinance on firearms? Yes, it would. So I mean, I don't know. The ordinances are totally different everywhere. Maybe the dude who asked doesn't have any ordinances regarding noise or anything like that. So, or discharging a firearm. Like, I believe in this area, there's an ordinance on how far you have to be from a home to discharge a firearm legally. I don't know. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I think that's the case. Let's see. Oh my goodness, the scrolling. I'm. You know what? We're gonna stick with it. Here we go. Johnny B is in the house. Shout out to Johnny. Who is your favorite Appalachian? Yeah, I said it that way to irritate him. Appalachian operator, and why is it me? Johnny's channel is absolutely blowing up because he's putting in a lot of work, and you guys should go check it out because he is on point these days. I'm telling you, whether it's the reviews that he's doing on his channel or over at Pew Pew Tactical or the political stuff that he's been getting into and pumping out, it's great. It's great content. You guys should go check it out. Let's see. Rhett Richmond Do you have an opinion on the Taurus TH series? I'm going to look at what those are real quick. Taurus TH. Let's see, a TH9. What's that? And I'm going to say that I probably wouldn't like it a ton. It looks like they're hammer fired. I don't know. Maybe it's like a hammer fired version of what I just reviewed, and maybe it's great. I don't know. Without shooting stuff like that, it's very difficult to say. One of the things I mentioned in that review was that a lot of the more affordable guns, the budget guns, feel that way. They feel cheap, and that ain't great. That is not good. I don't want to pick up a gun and just feel like I'm holding a cheap piece of crap. I don't want that. Somebody said Winchester has Subsonic 350 Legend. They announced it. I've never seen it for sale. That's the thing. They announced it. That was a plan from day one, but I've never seen it for sale. So if I'm wrong about that, please show me where I can go buy it. Maybe I'll get a 350 Legend, and we'll look at it 2 years from now when I actually have time. But that's cool. Honey Badger or DIY 300 Blackout? I would go DIY because you can do it way cheaper. And the Honey Badger, while cool, is not something I would spend that much money on. No harm against them in that case. That's not for me. I think, first of all, I'm going to say this on record. I think PDW's buttstock things or braces, I think they're terrible. Generally speaking, I think they are terrible. You can't get a good cheek weld. What's the freaking point? I'm big. I'm like 6 feet tall. I'm 300 and some pounds. I don't need a tiny little gun. I can hide something. I don't appreciate the value of having something that collapses into this little thing. I get folding stuff. Yeah, let's get down on that because I want a good cheek weld. I want to be able to use that gun the way I want. Let's see. What are the need to knows with firearms in a vehicles? So we did a video on traveling with guns when Adam was still making a ton of videos with us. So go look at the legal brief. There are a couple different topics regarding that. But generally speaking, the way to do it is make sure you've got a license to carry. In Pennsylvania, it's called a license to carry a firearm. In other states, it's a concealed weapons permit, things of those nature. Get one of those. That will oftentimes set you up for success. And if you are traveling between states, going across state lines, the safest way, the way I handle it, is I separate the ammunition and the firearms in the car. So if you've got an SUV, put the guns all the way in the trunk and the ammo right behind you in the cab part of the vehicle. If you've got a trunk, put the guns in the trunk and put the ammo up front. That's when you're crossing state lines. Typically, when you're going to the range, that CCW or license to carry will kind of allow you some safe passage within your own state, if that's not already legal. There are some states that have duty to inform. Like if you get pulled over, you have to tell the cop that you have a gun. Not in Pennsylvania that I'm aware of, unless that changed. Lord knows. So just be aware. I think it's very important to try and educate yourself on the laws where you live and go digging. Try to find that information because it varies from state to state. Mike Shipley, what are your thoughts on the new 9mm or 380 EZ Glide? He's talking about the Smith & Wesson 380 EZ Shield. So we did a video. We already reviewed the 380 Performance Center version, which I thought was fantastic. Really fantastic. It's got a ported barrel. The weirdest thing is that gun has a ported barrel, and I didn't notice a difference at all with the port because it's like this really little like Tic Tac size port on the end of the barrel. I think they just wanted it to look cool. I don't know. That gun was fantastic. We have a review coming on the 9mm version, which I also think is fantastic. It's like a full-size shield. Genevieve really liked it. I really liked it. It's good. Cool. Hopefully they'll do a Performance Center version of that too, because that would be freaking rad. I would really like to shoot that. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to scroll and make sure we get your questions answered here. Shout out to Christian Eneboldson. He's out there. He is one of the mods in TGC Nation on Facebook. Okay, Michael Stan on YouTube says, wouldn't you put the Canic lineup in the budget category? I saw your video about the Taurus G3. How would the Canic compare to the Taurus G3? You know what's funny? I did that video and the Canic didn't even cross my mind when I did it. And somebody in the comments said, what about the Taurus? I think it's the 1 series, or excuse me, not the Taurus, the Canic. And I said, I know people get really butthurt about me saying Canic. I know it's supposed to be Jonic. It's a C. Don't spell it with a C here in America and expect me to use a J. That's not the way this works. I speak English. I don't care. It's a Canic TP9. Get over it. The 1 series is they're more affordable. Like they boiled it down, didn't add as many accessories, yada, yada. That I think would be a good competitor to the G3. I don't know what they sell for. The MSRP I looked and it was like $299 MSRP, which means it could be really, really cheap on dealer shelves and give the G3 a really good run for its money. Really, it genuinely could. So I would like to eventually do that. We'll see if I can get a hold of one of those guns. I don't, again, this is, far off, but I think that's a really good point that was brought up. And yeah, here we go. Kathleen Music Lover, is the HK VP9 your favorite pistol or question mark? Favorite pistol? No, the Desert Eagle is my favorite pistol. It's stupid. And that's why I love it. The HK VP9 is a gun that I shoot pretty well. There's a new challenger in the I shoot pretty well category. The Zev OZ9. I really connected really well with that gun. We're going to do a video on that in the not so distant future. And yeah, I think the VP9 is a great gun, like fantastic. It fits my hand really well. I shoot it really well. It's comfortable to carry, got good capacity, especially now that they've got aftermarket mags, or you can buy the X-Tech mags and get it bigger capacity. I think it's great. However, it's not my favorite. I'm not going to pretend that. Jason Jackson, are you still taking the brain pills? Yes. There it goes. Yes, I've got the brain pills sitting here on my desk. Somebody saw me messing with a Red Bull and asked if I was taking them. I didn't take them today. I've been not great about taking them every day since we came home. But yes, I still take them. Plus, the Red Bull is more about straight up energy, whereas some of the packets that I've been taking are about like focus and being able to think straight. The energy is kind of a bonus on top of that, but I know a lot of people got very upset about that video, like really just very, very mad at me for talking about something other than guns and what people called snake oil. Look, it could be a placebo. I don't care. I'm just sharing my experience because I told them I would. They sent me a product. I tried it. I liked it. I shared it with you guys. What's wrong with that? Let's see. Do you support a pre-offensive violence strike on anti-gun legislators and their families? A what? I don't even know what that means, first of all, so I'm not going to agree to it. I think it's interesting. So I if I'm reading this right, you're saying go be violent on anti-gun legislators and their families? No, I don't support that. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. If that's what I'm supposed to take out of this. Hey, Nathan Engelking from Crossbead Holster says, what's your favorite holster company? Hey, Crossbead right now. No, Crossbead makes some great stuff and they support us big time. So that's awesome. Hey, Nathan. Let's see. If Pennsylvania became like California, where would you move to? I don't know. There are a lot of great places in the United States. Driving from Pennsylvania to Las Vegas and back was a great eye-opener on the beautiful landscape that I have not seen before or was missing out on. I would probably move somewhere out west. I'm not going to get into like exactly where, like Wyoming, Montana, Utah. We stopped in Moab. Moab is freaking cool. There's a lot of really cool places around the country, and the Rockies are vastly different than the East Coast. So I'd probably go there for a little bit at least. Excuse me. Let's see. What do you think is the best bang for your buck 9mm pistol? I just did a review. Go watch it. It's Taurus G3. Christian, hey John, always good time in the comment section. Goodness gracious, I can't speak. All right, here we go. Antonio Geronimo. Does anything 22 long rifle over $350, no matter how precision how what no matter how precision seems, does that seem silly to you? I'm not knocking those products. It's just no, it doesn't. It doesn't seem silly to me. The Voodoo, I've seen some of you that have been avid watchers will remember Ben, who does the precision stuff with me from time to time. Ben has a Voodoo barreled action in 22 long rifle, and holy crap, is that thing a freaking laser gun? That thing is freaking fantastic, and it's like $1,600 for the barreled action. It's not silly. It's just expensive. Like, it's just expensive. What is your preferred handgun to barrel length ratio on an 11.5-inch AR pistol? As long as I can get. If I'm doing a little AR pistol, I would probably lean towards putting a suppressor on there. And I'm kind of a gorilla, I guess. I've got big arms, and I like to be able to reach out pretty far on the gun. I don't like the tight end kind of grip, like on the magwell area or even close to there. I prefer to get way out there. That's just like a physical preference. So on a shorter gun like that, I would probably try, if it's an 11.5-inch barrel, then I would try to get an 11-inch rail, because I want as close to that as I can get. Thoughts on 40 cal? Is it obsolete? Obsolete? No. Dumb? Yes. I mean, if you want to carry a 40, carry a 40. I don't ever want a 40. I don't get it. I don't understand what the point is. There's so much good 9mm ammo. 40, you don't need 40 to accomplish anything. It doesn't give you any advantage. It gives you more recoil and it costs more to shoot. Why? Why would I do that? There's so much good 9mm stuff on the market. Like, why on earth would I spend the extra money and have to deal with more recoil to arguably not perform any differently? Yeah, that's my thoughts on 40. Downskated, super chat over on YouTube. Thank you for that. Can you get T-Rex Arms Lucas and Brandon Herrera on the same range together training with TGC providing neutral coverage? Is there some sort of beef going on with them? I don't know. Lucas has said some things in the past that I don't like. Some very like homophobic stuff. Not a fan of that. No. Like, I respect what they do. I think they make good quality content. I don't agree with the way he behaves on social media from time to time. I like Brandon a lot. I think Brandon does a great job making his content. I think those guys are vastly different. If there's some kind of beef, I'm unaware of it. I don't really care about beef between other people. I've got enough crap of my own to deal with. So, no, I'm not going to do that. like flat out, no, that's not something I care about right now. And those guys have a big audience on their own. I mean, I don't know. That's maybe I need to catch up on my beef, my YouTuber beef. All right, let's see. Do you run any kind of battle belt or anything like that for fun? No. Generally speaking, no. I will wear a gun belt. I've got one on right now from a company called Core, Kore, I believe. It's like a ratcheting belt, which is cool. I really, really like it. I'm going to do like a quick review on it soon, but there are other great belts out there. But like in terms of like a full-on battle belt when I go to the range, nah, that's not me. I most of the time when we're at the range, I'm trying to work. So it's just not going to happen. It's just not something I'm into. All right, here we go. Wow, so many great questions here. Thoughts on the Sig Sauer BXD series? The BDX, I believe, is what it's called. And the BDX is their ballistic like calculator system. I've got one to play with. I went to their launch on that at SHOT 2 years ago or the year prior. I'm not really sure when they launched it, but it's really cool. Uses Bluetooth to communicate between a rangefinder and a scope, which is cool. So you can like kind of gather data, and then it will input a like a hold point into your optic. That's smart. That's really, really cool. And then I believe there's also a way to get your Kestrel to filter into all that. So like you have this system of things working together. I think that's freaking cool. I haven't really messed with it. or figured out if it's worth the dollars. But let's see. Don't move to Washington State or Oregon. Was not planning. Oregon's beautiful. I've been there. I was there at the Loophole HQ. I think it's beautiful out there, but I would not move there with their politics. That's not a thing that I would like to do. Eric Nelson, what gun will save us from the coronavirus? None. It's not going to save you. Nothing. Stop. No. I'm kidding. Jason Jackson, when do you think Glock will recall the 44 or announce they goof up or give out replacement parts? I haven't seen Glock discuss it publicly yet. I believe they're probably trying to figure out how big the problem actually is, or if it's something that they can repeat. I've seen all kinds of stuff happen with the 44. I don't really know what the issue is. Like, I don't know if there's like a singular issue that Glock can say, hey, this is a problem. Here's how we fix it. But they've got to figure out how to do that. So it's going to take some time. They need to move faster for sure, but it's going to take some time. Let's see. Why have beef when venison exists? I don't know. Choice is a good thing. Also, there's a lot more cows than there are. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I don't know how many deer there are, and I don't know how many cows there are. I'm just like going on there's definitely more cows. I have no idea. It's probably a cost thing, and American tradition. The beef industry is really strong. Let's see. So Downskated commented back on another $5. Hey, thanks again, man. He didn't say there's beef. They have different perspectives. One's super precision. The other is AK, accuracy and volume. So I guess that coming together might be interesting. You said neutral, so that's why I picked up on like some sort of beef. I don't know. I think overall, I like one, that's not me. I think it'd be fun to go on the range and like learn, but that's not a project that I'm going to pick up. I think it'd be interesting to watch for sure. Seth Owens, how do you feel about 80% lowers? I like aluminum. Firearms is an American right. Have at it if you want to do it. I've messed with 80%ers. They're fun. Yeah. Any input on a 243 rifle for my 13-year-old son for first deer hunt? Any model suggestions or better caliber thoughts? So 243, if he can handle the recoil of 243, he can probably handle a 308. 243, there's some great ammo choices out there. I would look at getting some Lehigh Defense 243. Ooh, boy, that stuff will do the trick. You could also look at it depends on what's legal in your area. You could look at a 204 Ruger. I would probably look at, in terms of affordability, I'd probably look at the Ruger American series. If I was going to pick up a gun like for a first hunt, I would probably go with a Ruger, the American something or other. I don't know. They got like a million different models of those at this point, but that would probably be a really good choice. They're affordable. They're good quality. They're decently accurate. I think that's what I would do. Best lever action gun. Ooh, that's tough. An old Marlin. That's the answer. An old Marlin. This is going to be our last question tonight. Eric Nelson, Trijicon Ventus. Do you think it has a place for the civilian shooter, or is it just a military thing? So I think it has a place if the person can afford it. I think this is, like I talked about before, it's trickle-down economy type stuff. I think the Trijicon Ventus, while it is very expensive, that technology came from somewhere else. That was trickled down into the Trijicon. So I think taking that technology and over years and development has the potential to do some really incredible things. Like imagine an optic that had an array on the front of it, like on the objective lens, and it shot something out, shot like lasers out so that you could read the wind right from the optic and have that call right in the optic. That's possible, after things get boiled down, and that's one of those things of like, what are people willing to tolerate as far as size and weight and cost on their rifles? Right now you can get a thermal optic that's pretty good for under $10,000. So in theory, that price point would, like, you could integrate that sort of technology, like trickle down economy. I don't want to get in the weeds too much, but that's really what this is all about. I think it has potential in the future. I would love to see that technology go on, just developing over time, and we shall see. Let's see. I said that was going to be my last one. I don't see any more questions that are standing out to me. So I want to say thank you to everybody for jumping in tonight. That's really, really fantastic. It's really, really great to see so many people out here supporting what we do. Please go check out kineticdg.com and use the code TGC10. Get 10% off. And if you go to makereadyarms.com and use our code TGC30, you get a month free of their e-commerce stuff. And that's freaking fantastic. If you want to get into the gun industry, that is a good way to do it. So, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. If you have any more questions, you know where to drop them. We will see you very, very soon. Bye.